I reckon we talk about the movies that we have watched recently. Yes, this is a part of the episode on the Golden Hour Film Podcast where we discussed Seven Samurai, but look at this, we've clipped it up and we've made it into a special video. Shane, what have you watched recently?
Okay, so I did a quick rewatch of Matthew Vaughn's Kick-Ass. Don't know why it was on. It was just on. Just watched it. Like
crack.
The film. Yeah, it's good crack. Galaxy Quest is a film I hadn't seen before, and bear in mind I've not seen any Star Trek whatsoever. I just wouldn't know where to start, to be honest. Like, it's not any kind of prejudice I have against the show or anything or the films. I just like, there's so much of it that there's no point in me even getting into it, I feel like, at this point. But I know that this is like a satire on the kind of Star Trek like fandom and also like that kind of world. It's a really fun. It's like an homage to and also a piss take of that kind of show, Star Trek and those kind of sci-fi shows. So it is kind of a love letter to them, but also they're not afraid to like stick the knife in. Basically, it's Alan Rickman is so funny in this film. There's this posh English actor who just rues the fact that he ever took this job in this. He's very, very funny. You don't really see too many comedies from that guy, I feel like, but he's very funny in that. Royal Tenenbaums. So I saw a couple of Wes Anderson films because bear in mind
So good.
I like Royal Tenenbaums. I don't know. I also watched The French Dispatch, which I didn't like. Me and Harry have talked in the past about the fact that I'm just not a Wes guy. I don't know why.
It's fine. Not every director is for everyone.
Yeah, he just doesn't do it. I don't know why. I tried to give him another chance, but like I like Tenenbaums. I kind of like the first half better than the second half, but whatever. It is what it is. Like I gave it a chance. I like Tenenbaums. Didn't really like French Dispatch. It is what it is. Black Bag is my favourite film of 2025 so far. Steven Soderbergh directed this. He's so economical. I'm so fascinated by his whole filmmaking process for one thing, but then the film itself just absolutely made for me. It's just like smart, funny, a crime caper. It's a spy caper. It's so good. It's like smart kind of James Bond, like in a way that James Bond relies on gadgets and stuff and all this kind of stuff. This is just two people involved, so a married couple. One of them has to investigate the other because they may or may not be a double agent. But then there's this whole whodunit as well, so if it isn't that other person, who could it be? And then there's a final sequence, so obviously whodunits end with like the suspects all gathered up, and then the investigator, whether it be like Sherlock or whether it be Benoit Blanc or any of these, they all go through each of the motives that each of the suspects would have, and then they finally zero in on the actual perpetrator. It's just this film could not be made anymore for me. It's like literally like someone went into my brain and just like took my whole sensibilities and just put it on screen. I loved it so much.
Adding it to the watch list.
Mickey 17 is another one I saw in cinemas. Liked it. Definitely not one of my favourite Bong films, but another successful hit of the Bong, I would say. The Graduate. They really like The Graduate. I think we mentioned The Graduate on a recent podcast
Midnight Cowboy
episode, which I hadn't seen at the time, so I wanted to go and check it out because I know it's obviously highly thought of. A lot funnier than I thought it would be. I don't know why I didn't think it was.
Do you agree that Paul Simon absolutely shafted the people who made that film?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, what a con artist. Oh yeah, I'm going to provide the music for this 2-hour Oscar movie. One song.
In fairness,
one song. And he says, fucking play it again. Play it again.
Very memorable song, but yeah, it's wildly overplayed. No, I did really like it though.
It becomes such an earworm by the end. You're like,
no! Wallace and Gromit. Having not seen a Wallace and Gromit film from any Wallace and Gromit actually since before Christmas. I've never seen kind of all the big stuff. So I watched Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were Rabbit. Really good film. Really liked it. Clue, another murder mystery, which
I've been recommending that to you for like years. I feel
because I love a murder mystery. I like that. I didn't love it, and maybe it just feels a bit dated. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Cluedo anyway. The board game. Don't know why. For the fact that I love murder mysteries, Cluedo never really grabbed me, to be honest. But I did enjoy the film. Tim Curry is very, very funny in that film, especially towards the end. Singing in the Rain is an absolutely amazing,
So class.
amazing, yeah, musical. Really love it. Gene Kelly, what a guy! Just the tap dancing. I'm not like a tap dancing guy or anything, but the tap dancing in that is so impressive, so fast. I couldn't even. I was pulling a hamstring just watching it, to be honest. Airplane. So I had watched The Naked Gun recently, so I wanted to go back and watch obviously Airplane, which preceded it. Airplane is really really funny. I mean, quite dated. Like there's some jokes that haven't aged well at all. But they're also
some of the stupider ones are the
Yeah.
best ones though. Like I love the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar running
Oh, yeah,
gag
so
where he just keeps pretending that he's not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and at one point he's like in full Lakers gear and everything. It's
I
so
was like,
funny.
that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then he's like, so I didn't realize. Yeah, at one point he just
Yeah.
out of nowhere he's just in the Lakers gear. There's the joke at the start of the film where there's over the tannoys, there's a man and a woman, each kind of arguing over the tannoys, but then you get the whole backstory as well. Like it turns out they actually are in a situation together. It's very very funny. There's the running gag as well of the main character giving the story of his relationship that's since broken up. He's trying to win back his ex-girlfriend who's a stewardess on the plane, but then he's telling the people sitting beside him different people. And it's such a dark joke, but like there's a very dark joke that just keeps popping up because he's such an idiot that he's like, I'm not going to get into it, like what actually happens, I don't, but yeah, it's very 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 funny film, even if it hasn't always aged well. I watched the new Captain America film. It's not that good, to be honest, but it's what it is. AI, artificial intelligence, Spielberg. So actually, this is very fascinating because Stanley Kubrick initially conceived of this film, and like a lot of the development you can see in the film is kind of a Kubrick sensibility, but then he died. So Spielberg took it over, and he ended up making it. So Spielberg, there's kind of Spielberg's DNA as well when it comes to like the family stuff, and then there's also Kubrick's kind of a futuristic technology kind of state of the universe, all that kind of stuff. So it's it's an interesting. Have you seen it before?
No, I actually haven't. No.
It's very interesting. It's based on a short story, but it's a very interesting kind of a mesh of these two obviously iconic auteur styles. I would say it's not as successful as it probably wants to be for me anyway, but it's really, I mean, the last 5 minutes of this film are caught me in the fields, let me tell you. Haley Joel Osment is incredible in this film, one of the best child performances you'll ever see. I loved him in The Sixth Sense anyway, like that's obviously the film that he broke out on, but this is another level entirely what he's actually being asked to do. He's asked to lead a sci-fi blockbuster, like I don't know how old he was at the time, 12, 13 maybe, because he's playing this android, he's playing this this robot. But man, the journey he goes on it's crazy, and he absolutely pulls it off. Fair play to him. And I know this isn't a movie, but I wanted to mention anyway because it's absolutely sensational. If you haven't seen Adolescence on Netflix, go and stop whatever you're doing and watch Adolescence on Netflix. It's the same people who made Boiling Point, the film, the one-shot film, starring Stephen Graham.
Such a good film.
Directed by Philip Barantini. And the best thing about it is, like Boiling Point, the film, the one shot nature of it, the oneer isn't like a gimmick. It's not just a means to show off. It's a way to actually immerse you in. It's the only way to tell the story brilliantly. So all 4 episodes are obviously one take, one complete uncontinuous shot. It's none of this kind of VFX stuff where you slowly stitch shots together. They're genuine one shots. Owen Cooper, again, just talked about Haley Joel Osment. Owen Cooper, first ever piece of acting he's ever done, and he's incredible. It's an unbelievable performance in the central role. And Stephen Graham, in my opinion, is like one of the top 5 actors in the world. I rate that guy so highly. He's absolutely amazing. And just Adolescence, it blew me away. It's such an important kind of story that really needs to be told, and I think just everyone kind of needs to watch Adolescence. It's one of those you just have to watch. So that's what I've been watching recently. Harry, what about you?
Similar to that, I watched Nickel Boys, which is a new film, which again, it's not necessarily a gimmick, but the whole film is shot in first person. There's a couple of scenes where it's shot in third person, but the whole film is shot in first person. It did take a little while to get into it, I'll be honest. It did
Yeah,
feel
I
a bit
agree.
video gamey to begin with, and then by the end I was hooked. And yeah, you want to talk about a twist ending? Twist ending.
Yeah.
I then, because yeah, as I said, after the Midnight Cowboy episode, I was then just, for more or less the rest of the month, I was just like, I want to get into the new age of Hollywood again. So I watched my first Cassavetes film, which was The Killing of a Chinese Bookie. Really, really good film. Reminded me a lot of After Hours, the Scorsese film.
Love After Hours.
It's so well shot. Such a great character. Ben Gazzara plays the lead character so well. It's very seedy. I feel like when you kind of get into the 70s and late 60s of American film, the seediness is really, it's genuinely, I genuinely find it fascinating, because obviously had you say tried to make this film in 65, not a hope. But then when your man, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, became the president of the FCC in 67 and just basically said, lads, make whatever you want, game changed. I then watched Network for the first time.
Oh,
Again,
so good.
another essential film in the new age of Hollywood, because yeah, there's that one scene in particular that I always think of where she basically says that people have they've gone through Watergate, they've gone through Nam, they've either fucked or killed themselves to death, basically. Like, it's like America's in a weird place right now. They just need gritty realism, which in hindsight is such a clippable scene to then just basically be like, this was cinema at the time, guys. Because yeah, Network is fantastic. Sidney Lumet is amazing. I then, for literally no reason at all, diverged and watched two comedy films. One very good and one not so good. I watched Robin Hood Men in Tights from Mel Brooks. It's not very funny, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's not great. Dave Chappelle is in it. It's not quite a laugh a minute, but like it's maybe a laugh every like 5 minutes, if you get me.
Yeah.
But it drags. The only thing that kind of got me back in at any point was that Bob Duncan from Good Luck Charlie plays one of the villagers, and he's like absolutely jacked. But yeah, then I watched Hundreds of Beavers, which
Yeah,
is
I want to watch that.
so ambitious, and how on earth they pulled this off is beyond me. Like, it's so committed to what it wants to be. It's wild. It's so hard to describe Hundreds of Beavers. The editing, the acting, the directing, like, it's a silent film made in fucking 2024. Like, it's wild. And yeah, the humor is, you want to talk about a movie that is a laugh a minute. This so wild. And there was points in the movie where I was like, how are they gonna keep this up for like another hour? Like, how's that even possible? And then it just flips on its head, and then it just flips on its head again. And then like that whole ending, not to spoil it, but just like from how small scale it is to begin with to how like insane it is by the end is just hilarious. Such a great movie. I then watched Easy Rider, which is 5 stars. Unbelievable film. You got Jack Nicholson's cameo in this, which is so good. You've got Peter Fonda, son of the legendary Henry Fonda. He is so great in the lead. And then, of course, Dennis Hopper, who directed and acts in it, is so good. I don't know, just like a real, again, you talk about that one scene in Network, well, you want to talk about a whole movie that basically summarizes what cinema was becoming in the late 60s, is Easy Rider. Drugs, hippies, just kind of being free, and how people kind of responded to that as well. But very, very memorable ending as well. Again, because a lot of the new age of Hollywood stuff was clearly inspired by like the French New Wave.
Yeah.
Incredibly French New Wave ending for this movie. So it's like, wow. It's like you're going, boom, ending. But incredibly memorable. I then watched Death Proof because somehow I hadn't seen Death Proof before.
The amount of feet shots in that film is so funny. I'm sorry, it's so funny.
Hilarious. Hilarious. He was fully in his element there.
Yeah.
I would say few films have actually impacted my playlists more than Death Proof. The music in this is incredible, and yeah, such a great film as well, because it's basically a film with two halves, and I just liked it in the second half. Zoe Bell gets her flowers because she's basically
100%.
like Tarantino's stunt woman. So basically, she just gets like half a movie where she just gets to be a badass, and it's like, good for you, Zoe Bell, because she seems like good crack. I then watched MASH because I haven't updated it or anything, because I'm getting way worse and worse for updating my Letterboxd lists. But I noticed that for my favorite film from every year since like 1930 or whatever list, the only film from the 70s I'd seen was The Aristocats, and I was like, surely there's a better film from The Aristocats from 1970. So I watched MASH. And I would say it is marginally better than The Aristocats.
That's Robert Altman.
It's good. It's Robert Altman. It is a good film. You want to talk about dated? MASH is certainly dated. Some of the humor really lands. Some of the humor is like toe curling. But yeah, I just basically. The lads just skiving off is great fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like peak Korean War, peak Nam, and you just see Elliot Gould using the helipad of their army base as a tee box, and he's just like hitting golf balls it's great crack. Also, Donald Sutherland is like really good in this movie as well. He's so funny.
Shocker.
I then watched Chaos, The Manson Murders. Bear with me now. It's directed by Errol Morris, who directed The Thin Blue Line, which is one of the most important documentaries in the history of documentary filmmaking. So I went into this with high hopes. And yeah, you see the Netflix logo and you're like, oh, bollocks, what?
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's the most rinse and repeat documentary. It literally just tells, like, anyone who has so much as watched a 5-minute YouTube video on the Manson murders will come into this documentary and learn literally nothing new. There is no new information here. There's nothing insightful. It doesn't even cover the Manson murders in a particularly interesting... Oh, he was obsessed with the Beatles. Like, we know. Stop harping on about it. Like, then I watched The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes because, and you may not know this, but on Sky Cinema, they have all of the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films for free.
Oh, for free? Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to watch
So I
them,
have
yeah.
downloaded, I think is there 14 of them? I have them all downloaded now. This is the second one. And yeah, it's good fun. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. What can you say? It's a Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes movie. I was in Mrs. O's drinking a pint of Guinness. I felt as Irish as I could. And then I came home and I was like, wow, I just need something really simple to watch, actually. The Guinness has gone straight to my head. So I just put on a classic Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes movie, and it just hit the spot. It was like a perfect way to pass the time. I then watched Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, which is so I'm not massive into my westerns, but like I will watch westerns, of course. James Coburn, who is in like so many movies, is so good as Pat Garrett. Oh my god. Basically, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid is the 70s western, which kind of got reevaluated, and people are like, no, this is actually class, because I don't know how well it did at the time, but I just know that the consensus then wasn't quite what it is now. Now everyone's like, yeah, no, this movie's class. It's such a sad, bleak, depressing western about a guy who's basically hunting down his former outlaw because he's turned to the law. But based on characters you meet and stuff, you actually question if him turning to the law is actually, to use a wrestling term, is actually him turning face, or if he's actually turned heel by going to the law. Because he's questioning himself the whole time he's hunting down his former brother. But yeah, very bleak ending, very moody, melancholic ending that just really kind of makes the whole... It's like sometimes the journey's better than the destination, shall we say. And you want to talk about animal cruelty? Well, this movie, they actually beheaded chickens. So, yeah.
That's not great.
PETA weren't a big fan of this movie, it's safe to say. I then watched Frenzy. And yeah, I think we should cover Frenzy, because I know you're not a huge fan of Frenzy. And Frenzy is one of my favorite Hitchcock films I've seen. It is fucking class. I distinctly remember seeing Tarantino saying that he didn't think that Hitchcock is one of the greatest directors of all time, but if 50s Hitchcock was around in the 70s, and was got to basically fully commit to the ideas that he wanted to do because of censorship, then maybe he'd be in the discussion. Well, my answer to that, Tarantino, is: have you not seen Frenzy? It is literally, if 50s Hitchcock got to make a film during the new Hollywood era, unfiltered, unsolicited, unwavering Hitchcock. Listen, the man, I've watched like 30 Hitchcock films prior to this, and I really liked almost all of them. The guy is so good at alluding to stuff, and it's not like Marnie, because I didn't like Marnie. When Hitchcock in this film, instead of having to allude to stuff, he gets to actually show it. He gets to actually show it. He then has to kind of go about it in a certain way where it's still artistic. And I just feel like the editing and the direction of this movie is incredible. There's one scene in particular where a character and another character go into a room, and up until then you hear all the hustle and bustle of the streets and there's music and everything, and then the guy says one line and then it is dead silence, and the shot literally just comes down the stairs in utter silence, and it is genuinely some of the best editing I've ever seen in a Hitchcock film. It literally just hits you in the heart. It is brutal. As well, I like as well that it's an interesting take on the Wrong Man thriller, because Hitchcock's done so fucking many of them. But normally in his Wrong Man thrillers, the guy is like an upstanding citizen who's been like framed by the law. This guy could be a murderer. You just don't know. He could so be a murderer, which makes it a really interesting take on the Hitchcock formula, because it's like, this guy's actually like, I wouldn't go, at least to begin with, I wouldn't go as far as to call him deplorable, but he's an arsehole. He's an absolute arsehole.
He is a misogynist. Like, he is someone who doesn't think highly of women. So the fact that he could do this thing is like, it's not a stretch of the imagination whatsoever.
Which makes it way more interesting, because normally in a Hitchcock wrong man thriller, you know you're in a wrong man thriller, where to begin with, you're kind of like, what if he is the murderer? Like, he actually could be. Like, the twist may be that he is the murderer. And last but not least, I watched You Cannot Kill David Arquette, which is the documentary where David Arquette became a wrestler, had a light tube stuck in his throat, and Luke Perry had to rush him to hospital because he nearly died. It's a really good documentary. I was really into it, and the whole period where he goes to Mexico is like really cathartic and nice. I really liked it. And that is You Cannot Kill David Arquette. And that is everything that we have watched recently.